You know those weird bits of advice your grandma used to give you? The ones that made you think, wait, is that actually true? Well, today we're diving into the fascinating world of old wives' tales. For centuries, these little nuggets of wisdom have been passed down from generation to generation. They weren't just random warnings or superstitions. They were survival guides in a world without Google or WebMD. But how much truth is actually behind them? Let's find out together. Before we jump in, if you're enjoying this kind of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us across TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X for more stories that make history come alive. All right, let's get into it. Don't go outside with wet hair or you'll catch a cold. We've all heard this one, right? Your mom probably yelled it as you were running out the door on a winter morning. This belief goes all the way back to ancient Greece, where they thought cold and dampness would throw your body's internal balance out of whack. The funny thing is, we now know colds come from viruses, not temperature. But I'll be honest, even knowing the science, I still feel like I'm tempting fate whenever I leave the house with dripping wet hair in December. Some warnings just stick with us. Feed a cold, starve a fever. This catchy little phrase has been around since medieval times. People used to think that colds were cold illnesses that needed warming up with food, while fevers were already hot and would get worse if you ate. Modern doctors will tell you this is way too simplistic. Your body actually needs energy to fight off any illness, cold, or fever. So eat when you're hungry and definitely keep drinking fluids. Simple as that. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Did your mom ever slap your hands when you started popping your knuckles? Mine sure did. But here's the truth. That satisfying pop isn't your bones grinding together. It's just gas bubbles bursting in the fluid around your joints. Studies have repeatedly shown there's no connection between knuckle cracking and arthritis. That said, if you're doing it constantly, you might irritate the soft tissues around your joints. Plus, let's be honest, it drives everyone around you absolutely crazy. Don't swim after eating, you'll cramp and drown. Remember sitting at the pool's edge watching your friends splash around while you waited out that mandatory 30-minute post-lunch timeout? This warning was everywhere in the 20th century, even appearing on public beach signs. The theory was that digestion diverts blood from your muscles, increasing your risk of cramps. While there's a tiny grain of truth there, digestion does require energy. The chances of it causing a life-threatening situation are incredibly small. So, yes, maybe take it easy after a massive burger, but you don't need to be a poolside statue for half an hour. Sleeping with wet hair will make you go blind. Okay, this one's pretty dramatic. Especially popular in East Asian cultures, this tale warned that going to bed with damp locks could somehow damage your eyesight. It came from ancient ideas about bodily balance and harmful winds entering your body while you sleep. Is there any truth to it? Not even a little bit. But it does show how deeply some cultures feared vulnerability during sleep, a time when we're all at our most defenseless. Pull one gray hair, 3 more will grow back. We've all had that moment, spotting that first rebellious silver strand in the mirror and thinking, should I just yank it out? According to the myth, you'll only make things worse if you do. The reality? Each hair follicle is its own independent operation. Plucking one has zero effect on its neighbors. That said, constant plucking can damage follicles over time, potentially leading to thinning. This tale probably emerged from our collective anxiety about aging, and maybe parents trying to stop their kids from obsessively grooming. Shaving makes hair grow back thicker. This is the one that had every teenager worried, but science says it's just an illusion. When hair first grows back after shaving, it has a blunt edge and hasn't been lightened by sun exposure, making it appear darker and coarser. Shaving doesn't change your follicles or growth rate at all. I think this myth gained so much traction partly because of those old-school grooming ads that played on our insecurities, plus the fact that we really notice that stubble when it first appears. Step on a crack, break your mother's back. Now we're getting into playground territory. Most of us chanted this while carefully avoiding sidewalk cracks as kids. But did you know there might be deeper meanings behind this seemingly silly rhyme? Some folklorists connect it to ancient fears about disturbing sacred ground. Others see it as a moral metaphor. Your careless actions could hurt those you love. Whether it's spooky or just silly fun, this one has stuck around for generations. Breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck. This superstition goes all the way back to the Romans, who believed mirrors reflected not just your face but your soul. Breaking one meant fracturing your spiritual essence. Pretty serious stuff. The 7 years part comes from Roman beliefs about how long it takes for the body to completely renew itself. Even today, I bet most of us still feel that little pang of uh-oh when we accidentally break a mirror. Some beliefs are just hard to shake, even when we know better. A black cat crossing your path is bad luck. Poor black cats. They've had a rough PR history. This superstition really took hold during Europe's witch-hunting days, when black cats were thought to be witches in disguise or their supernatural helpers. But here's the fascinating part. In other cultures, black cats are actually good luck. Ancient Egyptians revered them as sacred, and in Japan they're considered protectors of single women. It just goes to show how the same symbol can mean completely different things depending on the cultural context. If your ears are burning, someone's talking about you. Have you ever felt your ears get hot for no reason? According to this ancient belief, it means you're the topic of conversation somewhere. Romans even specified that redness in your right ear meant praise, while your left ear burning signaled criticism or gossip. In a world before phones and instant messaging, this belief gave people comfort that they remained connected to their social circles even when physically absent. And honestly, it's still a fun thought when you feel that random ear warmth. Full moons cause madness or more births. There's a reason we use the word lunatic. It comes from luna, the Latin word for moon. Ancient people worldwide believed lunar cycles influenced human behavior, menstrual cycles, and fertility. Modern science hasn't found statistical evidence backing this up, but ask any emergency room nurse or police officer about full moon nights, and they'll swear things get weirder. Whether it's confirmation bias or something more mysterious, this belief has serious staying power. Touching toads causes warts. Those bumpy, warty-looking amphibians have gotten a bad rap for centuries. Their lumpy skin looked suspiciously similar to human warts, so people made a connection that seemed logical at the time. In reality, warts are caused by human papillomavirus, HPV, which toads definitely don't carry, but the visual similarity was just too compelling to ignore. Sometimes our eyes trick us into making connections that science later disproves. Pregnant women carrying high have girls, low boys. This prediction method has launched 1,000 baby shower debates. The idea that you can tell a baby's sex by how the pregnant person is carrying remains incredibly popular. Medically speaking, though, how someone carries depends on their muscle tone, the baby's position, and uterus size, not whether it's a boy or girl. But let's be honest, guessing games are half the fun of pregnancy, aren't they? Ugly sights. During pregnancy will lead to ugly babies. This belief, known as the maternal impression theory, placed a heavy burden on pregnant women throughout history. In ancient Persia and medieval Europe, expectant mothers were told to avoid frightening or ugly sights lest they mark their unborn children. Science has thoroughly debunked this, but you can still see its influence in how society polices pregnant women's environments and emotions. It's fascinating how these old ideas continue to shape attitudes even centuries later. Sleeping with lemons cures colds. In Mediterranean folk healing traditions, lemons weren't just food, they were powerful symbols of purification and protection. People believed that sleeping with a lemon nearby or even just inhaling its scent could ward off illness. While lemons do contain immune-supporting vitamin C, no amount of citrus can magically cure a viral infection. That said, the comforting aroma probably helped some people rest better, and good sleep is genuinely healing. If you make a face, it'll stick that way. How many of us heard this warning from our parents when we were crossing our eyes or sticking out our tongues? It's definitely not true. Facial muscles don't freeze in place no matter how many weird expressions you make. But as a behavior management technique, pure genius. Parents have been using this tale for generations to encourage proper facial expressions and social conformity, especially during the more formal decades of the 20th century. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. This familiar saying actually comes from 19th century Wales, where the original went, "Eat an apple on going to bed, and you'll keep the doctor from earning his bread." Pretty catchy, right? Apples became symbols of simple, natural health during times when access to medical care was limited. And modern nutrition science backs this up. Apples provide fiber, antioxidants, and essential nutrients. While they're not miracle cures, incorporating them into your daily diet is still solid advice. Old wives' tales are so much more than just outdated superstitions. They're like little time capsules that show us what our ancestors valued, feared, and hoped for. Some contain surprising wisdom, others reflect cultural anxieties, but all of them give us fascinating glimpses into the human experience across generations. What old wives' tales did you grow up with? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear the folklore from your family. Did your grandma have some special remedy or warning? If you enjoyed this trip through folklore and fact, please hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to know the truth about knuckle cracking, and subscribe to History Crossroads for more deep dives into the strange and wonderful traditions that connect us all. Until next time, stay curious, my friends.